In support of their request for banning animal farming, they present scientific evidence that eating the meat of animals raised in cages causes heart attacks, malignant cancer, obesity, depression, and other serious diseases. The U.S. President embraces their recommendations and lobbies the Congress to ban animal farming. The large animal factories with billions of dollars at their disposal lobby the Congress against passing any such legislation. In the end, despite the President's and the aliens' best efforts, Congress fails to pass legislation banning meat factories. The five then go to the United Nations and again plead for the banning of animal farming. Despite their best efforts, only Japan, India, Russia, Israel, Iraq, Bangladesh, Philippines, Sudan, Brazil, Germany, and a handful of other nations ban animal farming. The other major countries of the world do not take them seriously. Human's theory. The outcome of UN resolution regarding animal meat factories angers two of the aliens to such a degree that they unite with Goldfinger and work with him on promoting terrorism against the US, China, and other major nations supporting animal farming. One of the two, Human, seems particularly dangerous and resentful. He is a young, tall, dark-skinned male with big green eyes, having 8 fingers and a toe missing. He goes on TV and declares that not banning inhumane animal farming is the same as siding with Huites. The other 3 aliens try to mediate without taking sides and keep the pressure on the UN to ban animal farming. The 5 concentrate their intellectual focus and constructive efforts only on helping nations that have banned animal farming. As a result of their efforts, these economies expand and their technologies improve substantially above those of the US, China, and other countries that continue to allow meat factories. In addition, terrorism increases in the nations allowing animal farming. Mysteriously, the US spy satellites, Navy jets, and nuclear submarines disappear, malfunction, and misfire at each other. One day, an executive of a major US meat factory goes home to discover the dead bodies of 2 of his sons. They have been brutally tortured prior to their painful deaths. The criminal is later caught. He is a loner who was moved by the aliens' convictions. One of the aliens volunteers to represent him in the criminal court. The alien defense attorney is very aggressive and talkative. She argues that her client's criminal actions were justified and that he should be released as a hero, that the executive is ultimately responsible for the billions of innocent animals being raised under hellish conditions, similar to humans in the Huite meat factories. The end result is a hung jury and the man is released. Crowds cheer him as he leaves the courthouse. Meanwhile, sales of meat products worldwide shrink by 75% in a short 5-year period. Countries supporting animal farming finally realize that they are facing an enemy that has twice as much brain, is morally right, and is the enemy of Huites. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. They join the other nations in banning inhumane animal farming. The US president succeeds in implementing the other aliens' recommendations as well. Support free speech, release political prisoners, open borders, respect individual rights, and ban torture of suspected terrorists. 5 years later, the number of incarcerations in the USA goes down from 8 million to 80,000, and The Russia government arrests Goldfinger and sends him to the US for trial. The 5 aliens unite the world and administer justice. They develop cold fusion technology and make other scientific breakthroughs. They love nature, animals, and the simple things humans take for granted. The plentiful fresh air, the low level of gravity, the freedom to walk outdoors, in the jungle and on mountains, the winter snow, the change in seasons. On Hue, the temperature is controlled by Hueites and is always exactly the same. Swimming in the ocean brings them infinite joy. These are freedoms that they did not enjoy on Hue. The aliens are deeply religious and believe in a supreme spiritual being. Their logic is conducive to the idea of reincarnation, that after death, the soul transfers from the dead to the body of another being, on Earth, on Hue, or elsewhere. They believe in what comes around goes around. This transfer of the soul is most likely in the hands of a supreme spiritual being and may be influenced by the good or bad deeds of the individual in this life. 2 of the aliens recollect childhood memories of their previous lives. One recalls being a beast flying over the human meat factories. The other recalls being a KFC hen. This religious philosophy of reincarnation makes more sense to them than Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, which separate humans from the intellectually inferior animals, as the Hueites separated themselves from them. In only a few years, the 5 are able to advance the human civilization by more than 1,000 years and make life better for everyone, especially for the poor and hundreds of billions of farm animals. For fun and entertainment, they build large parks in many different countries where domestic and exotic animals such as lions, horses, tigers, crocodiles, zebras, sheep, wolves, and buffaloes roam free. Despite all these accomplishments, deep inside, the 5 aliens feel wounded. They know that they can never change a thing on Hue because the Hueites have a lot more brain. The Chinese president one day asks the aliens if there is anything humans can do to free the human farm animals on Hue. The aliens' answer is almost unanimously negative, except for Human, who has a far-fetched theory. The Chinese president proposes using supercomputers to beat the Hueites' superior intellect. The 5 respond that the Hueites' computer technology is light years ahead. Trying to beat them is as absurd an idea as a chimp attempting to checkmate a human in a chess game. There is no match for having more brain. In desperation, the Chinese president inquires about Human's far-fetched theory. His theory is founded on his strong belief in God, justice, and Newton's law, that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. What goes around comes around. Human strongly believes that if the humans on Earth ban all animal farming and do the reverse instead, that is, use their higher intellect to love, serve, and protect the animals, their actions may cause a shift in the fabric of the higher universe. Then mysterious events may occur, resulting in a chain reaction leading to the liberation of humans on Hue. In February of 2102, NASA scientists headquartered atop Mount Everest in India received strong intelligent signals from an object approximately 1 million miles away from Earth. The 5 aliens are securely rushed to Mount Everest to aid in interpreting these complex signals. Within moments, the five comprehend that the signals are being sent from the Huites, and the message is crystal clear. They must return to the ship immediately or face the horrors of disobedience. They realize that this is a direct order, and it is extremely dangerous to ignore it or take it lightly. Every bone inside the aliens rattles in fear. Ignoring the signal will mean the annihilation of Earth. The Huites have the power to disrupt the solar system and separate the Earth from the sun's gravitational pull. Their return to Hu will mean their demise into hell. It will mean never returning to their beloved Earth, living a hellish life on Hu, and finally having their brains eaten by the super intelligent ant-like creatures who care nothing about human pain. It is a very painful decision. This decision is also strongly influenced by Huites' manipulation of their brains to make them docile and unconditionally obey their master's commands. It takes an hour for them to come to a consensus. Finally, they step out, face the cameras, and inform the human race that they must return. If they do not obey their master's direct orders, there is a good chance that the Earth will be destroyed. The Indian president, out of compassion for the aliens, immediately orders the five under house arrest. The five inform the Indian president that unless they are released within 3 hours, they will have the underground terrorists bomb Calcutta.